Good morning. It is November 5th of 2024, and we are going to review the market prior to the election here. As you guys know, things have been pretty volatile because of the election. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, and so this is when you can either elect to sit out, or if you do trade, to trade very small positions. Normally, when we get into a chop, I like to trade uh, options. I like to actually sell options during the chop because they work in my favor versus buying just a call or just a put. And one of the things that you can see here in the cues is that we have been going sideways here for quite a while into the election. And you can also see that in TNA as well. Look at that. Every time we try to go higher, we get sold into, and every time we try to go lower, we get bought. So that is one of the sure ways to determine whether or not you are in the chop. And once you learn how to identify that, you can benefit by selling the put, or if you're long, selling cover calls. That is something that we can talk about later in the Discord server. But for now, I ran a poll last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and I'd asked people within the group what would help you the most. And I was actually kind of shocked that the majority of the members wanted to just meet on a regular basis. So I told the group that we're going to try to meet every Sunday at 10 o'clock CDT, Central Time. So if you find this video to be helpful, please come and join us. There's room for everyone. There's no charge. I have never charged for any of this. This is just my way of giving back to the Strat community. And with that said, let's start to look at some of these setups uh, for the fourth quarter here, or for the week, or however you decide to do that. Just understand that right now, like I said, until we get a better direction of the market as far as where we're headed as a country, there's going to be a lot of volatility, lots and lots of volatility. So with that said, let's take a look at what I have here. And every morning I do my homework. And you're going to hear me tell you that you need to do the work in order to get paid in a lot of this. Don't rely on someone blind. That's foolish. Do your own work. And if this helps you and you want to incorporate it into your strategy or into how you prepare for the day, please do it. If not, that's fine too. I will do my best to try to make these videos going forward because these also help people as well. Uh, as you can see right here, I have 5 time frames. I have the year, the quarter, the month, the week, and the day. And what I like to do when I am looking for certain setups here is that I like to make sure that the majority of them are in full time frame continuity, first of all. But there are certain ones like this Bank of America where right now we're kind of in conflict. But if you look at the bigger time frames here, you can see that we have price, and price is above the 10 moving average on all the bigger time frames. And I really use that as far as kind of a gauge as far as if a stock is healthy or not. And I know some people roll their eyes and say that's the dumbest thing ever. But here's the thing. There are certain things out there that I think are dumb as well. But in the end, it's something that you have to design and you have to follow and be disciplined enough to define what you feel to be an edge in the market. Okay? What some people use more indicators, some people don't. And I really have tried to take a step back and stop rolling my eyes and stop trying to point out what people may or may not use. Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that that's not my place, first of all. And what I'm showing you is just a way of how to do this. And however you choose to trade or whatever indicator you choose to use, that's up to you. But just realize that the more indicators that you have, in my opinion, the more complicated you make it. And my goal is always to teach members how to trade by just looking at the chart, making it very simple. Okay, enough with that. This is my strategy for Bank of America. Until this thing actually gets below the 10 on the bigger time frames, I will always sell a put in this as we reset and we get above the 10-day moving average here, which would be an A1. You can see right now it's a B03. I did sell one right in here, and so I'm still in this trade, but I'm okay with that because it ended up being one that I sold down through here. Okay, and if I get a sign through here, I'm fine with that because I would love to own these shares of Bank of America right through here. Uh, the other thing I want to point out too is that on these charts, you'll notice that I've worked extremely hard at trying to um, put notes here for people. One of the members told me that they really appreciate it when I take the time to put notes for the year, the quarter, the month, the week, and the day. And so going forward, I'm going to try to do that on all the setups, as well as have the alerts in place for you too. Let's try to speed this up. BKR, as you can see right here, is full time frame continuity. It's an A8. Anything above 4 or 5 is what I consider to be a chase or chasing, and it's extended. So I will wait patiently here for BKR to reset and give me an A01. And when it does that, I will probably sell a put in this again. Um, Look at where we're above the 10 on every time frame. And you're going to notice that on probably almost every one of these, except for maybe one or two that are speculative plays. City, same thing. We're just waiting patiently for this thing to reverse within this channel. Cake had really good earnings, and it looks like now it's trying to TTO. CMCSA, same thing here. Nice earnings, went inside and down. Just waiting patiently for this thing to come back and reverse. And if you haven't picked up on it yet, I love to trade reversals back to the upside. And I have found that when I am disciplined and I have my setups in place and I wait for that reversal, my probability and my win rate go up immensely. Now, you'll notice I didn't say it's perfect and I never have a loser. And if that's what you're after, this isn't the place for you because I can tell you that that will never happen. No matter what system you have in place, you will always have winners and losers. And if you do find someone who says that they always win, run away from them. Okay, just run away from them. Um, it's impossible, right? You're never going to be perfect. Uh, Dell, same thing. Waiting for a reversal here into earnings. GM reported earnings, and now we just have this beautiful TTO. GM has this wonderful magnitude of 67.21 in this area for the year. And this is one that, in all honesty, I have been trading way back here, way back through here, because once we went in force in this area right here, uh, this from the moment we went in force right here in 2024, this thing had the potential to continue to go higher. And that's the kind of thing that you have to pick up as a trader on the bigger time frames is that, first of all, is it a good name? Second of all, are we in force on the bigger time frames? And if so, I need to put this on my watch list And every time it sets up on the month or the week or whatever time frame you choose for entry, for some people it's the week, for others it's the day, but whatever you choose, that's when you start to take those positions, okay? And that's something that you'll learn within the Discord server as well, because we've been killing it in GM all year long. Google, another one that reported really good earnings. You can see how we came up here and we filled the gap, and now we're just waiting for this reversal to come back through here. And I'm going to create an alert here at 170.74, and I'm going to do that by just right clicking and then left clicking on create alert and then change it to 170.74. That's if you are fairly new to Thinkorswim and you need to create alert. Let the alerts do the work for you. You don't need to chase this thing and watch it and babysit it. Let the alert just tell you when the trade is taking place, and then once it does that, take action. That's it. Don't make it hard. Robinhood, same thing. We got the 2-2 rev here, and because of that, I ended up selling a put in this, and I got more than 20% in the first day. And let me explain one of my rules, and that is if I sell a put and if I get a 20% move within the first 3 days, I close the position. I just take the money. I don't get greedy. But if it goes beyond the 3 days, then I'm looking for a minimum of 50% return on that option or higher. It really depends upon the market conditions. Full-time frame continuity for Robinhood. We've got this beautiful, beautiful move possibly back up into here. And yes, this is Robinhood. This is the stock that everyone hated back in the day. But you can see they've made changes, and now people are buying this thing back up. So uh, just takes time sometimes for a company to change their ways. And once that happens, people will jump on board. Let me reply back to my wife here. Message. Okay, let's go through this HPQ. Same thing. Just sideways chop. And anytime I get a sideways chop, I'm selling the put in this too because that works in my favor. IoT sideways chop. Looking to sell a put. IP had great earnings, and now I'm just waiting patiently for this thing to come back down and give me an A1. IREN, this one is kind of a unique setup because you can see that we have this 1-2, but it's coming back down. Um, I still like it. I love how we have this correction through here, and now we're just kind of shaking out the weak hands, and then we have earnings coming up in here. This is one that has really good options, and I don't mind sitting in this thing for a while. And if I need to, I'll get assigned and I'll deal with it. Again, above the 10 on the bigger time frames here, except for the year. The reason why we don't have a 10 moving average here for the year is because this has only been around for 4 years. You got to have 10 candles. MO, same thing. Strong earnings. You can see how just with earnings alone, we took all these players out to the left. We just wiped them out, right? We just blew them away. And that's what they do. They run it, they pause it, they rest it, and then they just smoke it to the upside if they like what they see with earnings. And you can see on the bigger time frames here that we have a lot of potential here, and the magnitude for MO is very, very nice for the year. We'll see what happens with that. Marvel, same thing. Bigger time frames tell you that this has the potential to go higher. Norwegian Cruise Line. This is the one of the exceptions that I was telling you about, where the year is actually below the 10 moving average here. And my exception with this is the others time frames here, the bigger time frames are above it, but because it has a strat set up and it went 2-1-2 up, that is why this is on the list. Nutanix, same thing, possibly going back to all-time highs. NU, possibly back to all-time highs. NVDL, this is one of the ETFs that we trade in the Discord server. It's an ETF for NVIDIA, and the options on this thing are amazing. And this ETF is half the cost of NVIDIA itself, and in my opinion, it moves better than NVIDIA. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here because they report on the 20th, really anticipating a nice move to the upside into earnings. I actually sold a put in this last week, and as I was out at a job site yesterday, you can see that it went 212 for the day, and I was fortunate enough to take this right back up to target, and I believe it ended up being a $40 move. So that's what I mean. If you're going to sell puts, those are the kind of puts you want to sell, the ones that actually pay, and this is one of those that does that. PayPal looks amazing here if it can go 222 rev on the year. You can see that this had a huge correction here in the last 3 or 4 years. And if we get moving back to the upside, we got potentially a condo play that could look like our last condo play, which was Carvana. See that? The 2-1, and then we just took off. But now, does that mean PayPal will do that? Absolutely not, because they're all unique. But here's the thing. If it does that, that's one I want to hold for a long time, as long as it cooperates. RF, just an inexpensive bank that is still trying to take out the previous high and complete the 2-2 rev on the year. RKLB, this is one that came up on my scanner when I was doing my full-time frame continuity scan. And I'm just kind of watching this one. I do like how it's 213 for the year, and it continues to uh, run, rest, run, rest, run, rest, run. And so now we're really just waiting to see if this thing rests and then runs even higher. Magnitude on this one, if they want to take it all the way back up to previous high, is 2150. So keep this one on your radar. Starbucks is a position that I actually sold a put in. And the reason why I did that is because it is above the 10 on the bigger time frames. But more importantly, you can see this sideways chop right here for the week. And when a stock goes sideways and it just chops, if you sell puts right through here, this works in your favor. It works in your favor because sooner or later, in this case, you can see that I have this one sold for November 15th. Sooner or later, the Greeks get to them and time decay hits them, and it just moves in your favor. I'm not going to make a ton of money on this one, but it's just something that I've got to put this money to work in my retirement account. And so if the setup is there, I'll do it. Sweet Green, this is a restaurant chain, and you can see ever since going 2-2 rev here on the year, we have been getting it's been getting bought on the bigger or on the other time frames as well, the quarter, the month, and the week. Just be aware that this thing has earnings on the 7th. And then we have silver. Silver completed the cup, if you want to call that. I call it a smile, and ran the target here. And now we're just kind of TTOing on the week here to see if we can take a run to the next level here of 36.62. SoFi reported earnings, and this thing started to sell off. And if you guys follow me, you know that I was on the wrong side of this trade. But here's the deal. I admitted it and I moved on, and now I'm willing to wait for it to set back up, and possibly we'll get a 212 reversal here for the year. Um, you're gonna find out that if you follow me for any period of time, I do not like to short unless it is a really quick short, and if it does go against me, I am quick to admit to or that I'm wrong and I get out, because a short can go against you infinitely. And if you don't believe me, ask the people who got stuck in this GameStop squeeze back in the day and they were forced to cover. This is painful, and they know this, and that's why they drive price up the way that they do. I'll get off my soapbox. TOST is another one that we've been trading a lot ever since we went 212 here for the year. I like it. It's above the 10 on the other time frames, and now we have earnings um, on the 7th. The options on this are really good for a $30 stock, so check it out. TSLL, this is also an ETF for Tesla, and this is an exception as well because you'll notice that it's not doing so hot. But this is just one that I like to follow. It's not because I have a bias, it's just one that I love to trade because it's a very fluid and liquid ETF. And what I'll do is wait for this thing to come back down through here and give me the reversal at 1176. So I will move this back down to 1176, and if it triggers today at 1177 in that area, I'll sell a put in this. And a lot of people would ask, why would you do that if you have full time frame continuity to the downside? And the answer is because if you change the continuity, you have to start on the smallest time frame. So the day would have to go green, and then if the day continues to get bought, then the week would flip. And then if the week continues to get bought, the month would flip. And it's just a dominoes effect. Tesla is one of those stocks where going into the election, it all depends on who you want as president. If you want Trump, Tesla's going to do well, people have said. And if you want Harris, then of course that's a bad deal for Elon Musk. But I really don't get caught up in that. I just trade the price action. UPST, same thing. We have earnings coming up. This thing has the potential to reverse and go 222 rev on the year if it wants to. But first, it has to get past this TTO here. Victoria's Secrets, this is one that's been getting bought as well. You can see here for the quarter how we went 3-2 and now we're above the 10. And then for the month, it's a 222 continuation. And then for the week, same thing, ever since going 3-2, 222. This is a good example of how it has to flip on a smaller time frame first, right, on the week. And if it continues to get bought, how it triggers a bigger player like the month and then a bigger player like the quarter. And so we want this thing to continue to get bought and possibly come back up here and trigger a 222 rev maybe by the end of the year. I don't know, but if it does, it has earnings on the 27th. And here's the crazy part about this is that this is an A17, and I know people will say there's absolutely no positive way that this thing can get back up there and trigger that. And don't don't count it out because anything can happen in the market. Now, ideally, what I would like to see is for this thing to TTO like it did right here and then run. So I'm waiting patiently for this thing to come back to the 10 or the TTO and then possibly run right back into earnings. And last but not least, we have another player here that got kind of killed during the COVID years, and that is Zoom. You can see how we are at 2-2 right here, and we went 3-2 for the quarter, and then we went inside and up for the month, and then we did the same thing 4 weeks ago with inside and up, and now we're just kind of pausing here. We have earnings on the 25th, and I love how this thing is chopping sideways and possibly setting up to reset to an A1 and then run back in. That's it. I know this one's kind of long, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Please subscribe, and if you want, join the Discord server. It's free, and this is something that will be posted in there along with several setups. So I hope you enjoyed this. Trade them well, and God bless.